In 1998, Microsoft released the Windows 98 operating system to the world. On May 5th of 1999, Microsoft released, if you want to call it this, Windows 98 Service Pack 1, or basically Windows 98 Second Edition, which is what we are looking at in this video 20 years later. Unfortunately, I'm going to tell you right off the bat, and this isn't an opinion that is apparently shared with many people, or even anyone, because judging by the comments that I get on my videos every time I say something negative about Windows 98, it's roughly equivalent to my kicking somebody's puppy from Newfoundland to Vancouver Island. But that is just that, it's my opinion. I've never been a fan of Windows 98. Not Windows 98 First Edition, not Windows 98 Second Edition, but especially not Windows 98 Second Edition. And my experience with Windows 98 SE flies in the face of the experience of some others. You know, a lot of people will tell you that Windows 98 First Edition was kind of a piece of junk. It really wasn't that great. But Windows 98 Second Edition, oh, it was so much better. So much more stable, you got more features, and better features? No, I really don't think so. Windows 98 Second Edition has not been too kind to me. In fact, it's been more unstable than Windows 98 First Edition has. So I don't have a lot of Windows 98 SE machines kicking around. Most of the machines that I've got that are running Windows 98 are running Windows 98 First Edition with some of the stupid crap that Microsoft thought was a good idea turned off. Now, to be fair, Windows 98 Second Edition did offer some improvements over the original Windows 98 release. It gave you a new version of Internet Explorer, version 5, as opposed to version 4.0, 1 I believe it was, that was bundled with Windows 98 First Edition. You got a new version of NetMeeting, you got a new version of Media Player, you got some new driver support, most notably I think for FireWire. The other thing that I remember being added to Windows 98, at least off the top of my head, there's probably other things, in Windows 98 Second Edition was WebDAV, WebDAV. I just remembered another one. Internet connection sharing made its debut in Windows 98 Second Edition. The biggest issue I took with it was the fact that reliability didn't improve. It really wasn't that much more stable, if at all. And in my experience, it was less stable than the original release. Now, this isn't the experience of everybody. You need to look no further than the fact that there are people out there who say Windows Millennium Edition worked perfectly for them. I'm not going to refute that. But I'm going to say that it hasn't been the experience that I have. It's the same thing here. Windows 98 First Edition, or FE, was more reliable than Windows 98 Second Edition, for me. But they both just had features that really didn't jive with me. In particular, the bundling of Internet Explorer with the operating system, and how, not so much that it was there, but the fact that it was so deeply integrated into the operating system just rubbed me the wrong way. And it just seemed to me like IE made the system run so much slower. Of course, IE started faster, because most of it was already loaded into memory, but it made everything else run slower. That's just my experience. Maybe it's just, you know, my personal opinion of IE tainting things a little bit. That's certainly possible, but didn't like that. And I'm going to mention something else with regards to this. There was an antitrust lawsuit against Microsoft about this very thing. Now, you can argue the merits of the antitrust lawsuit all you want, just that it exists, and Microsoft lost it. A couple of things that stand out from this antitrust lawsuit and the findings of fact are that Compaq removed, I think, if I remember right, it was sometime in 96. This would have been on Windows 95. But Compaq removed the MSN and Internet Explorer logos from the desktop and replaced them with Netscape and AOL. I think it was AOL. Anyway, something that wasn't MSN. And Microsoft turned around and threatened to terminate their license for Windows if they didn't put IE and MSN back where they were. Something else that they did was they threatened to discontinue Office for Macintosh if Apple did not bundle Internet Explorer as the primary browser on the Macintosh. Doesn't that sound sleazy to you? But all in all, what I'm really saying is that this antitrust lawsuit exists. And if you want to know more about it, I've posted a link to the Wikipedia article regarding it in the video description. I'm not going to sit here and get all totally cynical about Microsoft and Windows 98 and all of that. But the other big issue I take to Windows 98 is that it developed, or with Windows 98, Microsoft developed the Windows Driver Model, WDM. Windows 95 never got WDM. Not even in OSR 2.5. And the cynic in me believes that this was done intentionally to force people who wanted to use USB devices, specifically, to upgrade to Windows 98, which had WDM support, because most drivers for USB devices are written for the WDM, not for the older driver framework. So without further ado, now that I've let this video drag on far too long, we're going to go ahead and we're going to power up this machine, which is running Windows 98 2nd Edition. It's one of the very few that I've got that is running Windows 98 2nd Edition. Hewlett-Packard Pavilion 3260. Intel Pentium 200 CPU. I upgraded it today to 128 megabytes of memory. It's got a 3.2 gigabyte hard drive. Before I power it up, I have to say that this machine's been sitting for a couple of months, and apparently at some point between then and now it laid down and died. I had to repair it before making this video. So if it stops working in this video, I won't be surprised, but I may need to switch computers at some point. To what computer, I don't know, because I don't have a whole lot of Windows 98 SE machines laying around. Most of my systems are running Windows 98 1st Edition, if they are running Windows 98 at all. Any of my Windows 9X or Windows 4.x, if you want to go that route, because that's really all it is. It's, let's see, what's the DOS version? I think it's DOS 7.2, maybe DOS 7.1, with Windows 4.1 running on top of it. That's all Windows 98 is. Anyway, if you want to think about it that way. Power the system up. You have a blither blather. Sounds like there's a bad fan in the machine. This monitor does not synchronize very quickly. There you can see Windows 98, same splash screen as 1st Edition, no difference. You probably won't see one. I did always think that startup sound was pretty cool. And the themes were pretty cool. Those are pretty cool about Windows 98. But everything else, no thanks. Especially the IE shell. Watch this. So let's go ahead and open up an Internet Explorer window here. Watch, it's going to prove me a liar. And it doesn't really matter. It's going to open up a page here. Stop. Let's navigate to C Windows. Ah, see? There you go. Looks exactly the same as an Explorer window. In fact, we'll do the same thing. We'll go here. We'll open up an Explorer window. Go to the same place. See Windows. There it is. In fact, look at this. Even this looks exactly the same. It is exactly the same. So yeah, anybody that goes and tells you that the Windows Explorer and Internet Explorer are different things, they're completely incorrect. So, at least as far as these older versions of Windows are concerned, Microsoft took steps to sort of shove that under the rug, but it's still true even till today. I think Windows 10 is, the Explorer in 10 is still based on IE. IE is still bundled with 10, at least as I'm making this video. They haven't managed to get rid of it just yet. Which definitely suggests that there is a little bit of integration. So you'd think that they'd want to get rid of such an old product with such a shady past. But they can't! Anyway. We can actually check here and we can see... Oop, that isn't going to help me because it's not actually an IE window anymore. Stop loading. Microsoft Internet Explorer 5. 40-bit cipher strength, which is really bad, but plenty good enough back in those days. There isn't a whole lot that I've got installed on here, is there? No, there really isn't. Other than all of the online services that don't exist anymore. Do I have NetMeeting on here? Oh, I have to set it up. I want to use it. And maybe one of these days I will actually do that. Ooh, person web server. I never actually noticed that before. Anyway. Maybe one of these days I'll set that up and make a video about it. What was I going to do? MSN, blah, blah, blah. Nobody cares about that. It's got Outhouse Express, because of course it's got to have Outhouse Express. And we'll have a look at the Windows 98 welcome utility. Let's see if I can find it. Watch us get my video muted. That was the best part of Windows 98 right there. Alright. Oh man. I'm on the Discovery Tour. Aww. Well, I don't know where my Windows 98 CD is. And at almost 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm not going to go looking for it. So I guess we'll have to look at that in another video. That's just the maintenance wizard. That's the internet connection wizard. And the registration. I don't know what the registration would actually do. Welcome to the registry. Let's try this. This probably won't work, because I think they've probably removed this by now. It may take several minutes. It is actually talking on my network. Well, I'll come back if it's done anything. Okay, well, to my great surprise, either it succeeded or failed silently. So let's go ahead and try this. Oh, we can have fun with this. Alright, send system inventory. Sure, why not? We can't register now because your modem is configured incorrectly. Screw you. Yes, you really just saw me do that. Wow, I probably shouldn't even do that kind of thing on the internet. Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I can report on there. There's not much else to do. I don't even think there's really any media that you get with Windows 98. Yeah, you get nothing. Here's the new Internet Explorer. The new media player. is version 6.01. I think the older version was 5.2 or something like that. Very iconic sound. Even somebody like me who dislikes Windows 98 has to admit that. Of course, my favorite thing to do with Windows 98 was to sit down, and probably this won't even work because it's not even here. Yep, didn't install it. But my favorite thing to do was to sit down and interactive CD sampler. Please insert the Windows 98 CD. Forget it. Might look at that in another video as well. But it's even for somebody like me that hates Windows 98, it is fun to sit back and use these things every once in a while and just look back on what once was. So, I guess on that note, I'm going to conclude the video. Happy 20th anniversary to Windows 98 2nd Edition. You're almost old enough to drink in the United States, but not quite. One more year to go. And as far as the video is concerned, that is going to do it. Thank you for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them down below. And this is CP666 signing off, and I hope to see you next time. Till then. Disaster Windows ME was. You know, it's about 3:30 in the morning, and yet some guy in the room next door thinks it's acceptable to be yelling into his computer screen. I think I need to get myself some duct tape.